Chapter 11. Grow Better as You Grow Older. By Rebecca Hickman. A psychic friend of mine introduced me to Silva. We didn't have a Silva instructor in Charleston, West Virginia, at the time, but an instructor who was traveling around teaching Silva courses came to Charleston. My friend said, "This is a real good course. I took it 20 years ago and it changed my life." I had been to a lot of workshops, and I thought, this will be exciting for a couple of weeks, then I'll forget all about it and will have wasted my money. I asked my friend about the cost and the time involved. When she told me, I said, "No, I don't have the money or the time to do that." Those are the standard excuses for folks who don't want to take the course. She said, "You've got the time and I've got the money." She literally dragged me to that course, sat me down, and handed out the money to pay for it. I thought, this must be really something, that she would do this. She didn't have much money, and I was sort of in awe that she did this. 20 years earlier, the course changed her life. In November 1987, it did the same for me, and I will always thank her for it. This is not going to be the end of me. When I had my heart attack, I thought, this is not going to be the end of me. When they took me to the hospital in the ambulance, I knew I wasn't going to die. I knew I had to live for something, that there was something else in life for me to live for. I remember thinking, I won't close my eyes. If I don't close my eyes, I won't die. I didn't die. And as soon as I got out of the hospital, I took the Silva course. I felt like it was what I had been looking for all my life. It all made sense immediately. As the instructor said, the right brain doesn't take a joke. And it doesn't. I remember that one of my favorite expressions was, "That really hurts my heart." I don't know what kind of messages I was sending to my body, but I sure got busy and stopped sending them right quick. I learned all the techniques and used them all. I went to every class the instructor gave in Charleston, and drove 4 hours to her town to attend more. One day when I was in her class, I told the instructor, "You know, if I was 20 years younger, I would love to go to Laredo and take the instructor training." I really wanted to find out what was behind it, what made it work so well, what made all these good things happen. She said, "That's the silliest excuse I've ever heard. You know you can go to Laredo and become an instructor if you want to." Then I began to think that maybe I could. My friends all told me I was too old. By that time I was 69 years old. What people are going to put you through the training and let you start at 69? Society doesn't accept that kind of thing. You know, you are supposed to get old and decrepit and end up in a nursing home by the time you are 70. A sign from a higher power. Going to Laredo for instructor training began to sound like a wonderful idea. All kinds of fabulous things had been happening. I'd changed my life, I had helped my husband, and I had done so many good things. People still laughed at me because of some of the things I was doing, but when they found out what the results were, they became believers. I decided to go to Level and ask for a sign to let me know whether I should go or not. I knew that I was getting old, and I wanted to do more with my life. I didn't want to give up my life. I wanted to be involved, and I liked helping people. I programmed that if I received money from an unknown source, it would be a sign to go. I didn't need money to make the trip to Laredo, but it would be a sign. A couple of weeks later, I got a letter from Nellie, a friend I grew up with, whom I hadn't heard from in 37 years. When I opened the envelope, there was a check in it from the Wells Fargo band in California. I thought, I've never been to California. I didn't know what Wells Fargo was. It looked to me like it was one of those fake checks that was just made to look like somebody was giving me $400, but was really just some kind of promotion. In the letter, she said she knew I would be surprised hearing from her, and she used terms like, "I've been thinking a lot about you, and I don't know how much money I really do owe you, but this number keeps popping in my mind." The way she wrote, it sounded like something or someone was sending her messages to do this, in order to send me a sign. I wrote her a thank you note. I would have sent the check back because I didn't feel like she owed me anything, even though she thought she did. But then I thought, well, I did ask the universe for it, so I decided to accept it. I knew where it really came from. That gave me my real sign in the physical world. And it also paid my way to Laredo and back. I was very excited about that. I went to Laredo and took the training, and I felt like I was in heaven. I didn't know enough about it to ask a lot of questions, but I knew that I would learn more as I went along. As I've gone along with it during the 12 years since I attended instructor training, I have learned more than I have ever given away. I know that. When I introduced myself at the beginning of instructor training, they asked why I was there. I confessed that I thought maybe I was too old to start doing this. A lot of the instructors who were in that class have kidded me about that ever since. 12 years later, I'm still going strong, teaching at least one class a month, and involved in a lot more activities, such as writing a chapter for this book. It was like a dream come true. I had mentally pictured going down and getting my certificate and being accepted as an instructor. I looked at Jose Silva. He was older than I was, and he was still so active. He was demonstrating a memory technique and could do it so well. I thought, if he can do that at that age, I'm sure I am not old either. He was a great inspiration. I literally began to get younger every year in my feeling, in my life, and in the way I could do things. I found that I didn't have to get old. In fact, one of our instructors, Marcelino Alcala, used the Spanish phrase "y no contemos," which means stop counting. I think that's a great idea. Becky Hickman has 36 years of professional experience helping people as a schoolteacher and counselor. She has been a Silva instructor for 13 years, teaching both the basic and advanced courses.